Well, good evening guys, and happy Wednesday to all of your sunshiny faces. Well guys, I am pretty happy, impressed I guess a little bit with myself in sticking to meal plan for this week. Ever since again to last Friday when me and Jack went through the freezer outside, I was really wanting to you know, try and use up some of maybe the older stuff that I knew was out there, and try and just again get some of it used up, and you know, stick to a meal plan of, again too, like I was telling you guys, a lot of times I just pull the first thing out that I saw and then that was what we were gonna have for dinner. Instead I'm doing it where I have a list of everything and then I'm writing out the meal plan for the week, and again too, this way stuff doesn't get buried in the bottom of the chest freezer outside, and I'm, you know, again using that stuff up, the older stuff, instead of just again too, more normally when I make it, the new stuff gets thrown on top and the old stuff gets thrown you know, gets buried at the bottom, and that's why I don't end up, you know, I'm never able to find that stuff, and so then we don't end up, you know, having it. So like I was saying, we ended up you know, I've stuck to my meal plan pretty much so far this week, which again too, I did cook on Saturday and Sunday because my mom wasn't feeling good. Normally she cooks on Saturday and Sunday, and then I'll cook Monday through Friday, but I don't cook on Thursdays because normally that's when my parents either go out or they'll do takeout or something like that. But I don't know if they're doing it tomorrow or not, or they're possibly going out for breakfast, or they're doing breakfast over the weekend. I heard somebody saying something, but like normally it's on Thursdays when I'm not cooking. Now again, things can sometimes get switched around, but that's what I think is the plan potentially again for this week. If not, regardless, we've got a lot of leftovers. So it's going to be leftover day for Jack tomorrow, and myself as well, pretty much, if there's anything that's left over for me to have, or if not, I'll just stick to kind of my meal plan for myself for the week. And then again too, my parents normally end up going and getting takeout, so we do have some you know, again a little bit of leftovers from the few meals that I already cooked from, you know, Saturday and then on to today. So like I said, I stuck to that. I also ended up, I edited and uploaded today. I also did laundry. I don't think I did dishes. I think that was the only thing I didn't get to. And I also ended up going out to the garden today with my mom because she ended up finding some really good, the last 2 days guys, she's done better at finding deals than I have. I'm like very impressed. All that stuff I shared with you guys yesterday from the all of that, you know, like vintage stuff that she found from the thrift store. Well, she ended up finding a handful of more records as well today. She ended up going back there along with this vintage like game that I forget exactly what it's called, but it's from the 50s, and it's like, I don't know, kind of like a board game or like something like that. And like I said, it's like from 50 something, and it actually still has part of the original shrink wrap on it. She looked and there was one online that was selling for like at least $30, and it was missing like the dice for it. So she was like, this is like crazy. So it was pretty cool. She ended up finding that, and like I said, a couple other records. But the other really cool deal she ended up getting today, like that wasn't even the coolest thing. And I'll have to share with you guys that in possibly tomorrow's vlog or something like that. But she ended up going to the greenhouse, the one I told you guys we were, you know, so disappointed in earlier in the year, because we ended up going to like the hardware stores and, you know, like Walmart and stuff like that to look for some of our plants at the beginning of the year, or the beginning, you know, of the season. And so we ended up going to the greenhouse last, and we were so upset because this greenhouse was so cheap, their prices. And like, in comparison, when we ended up going last year, we ended up going to this greenhouse, and again too, I think Menards, Walmart, and then this other greenhouse. And the not one that she went to today, but this other greenhouse was so expensive. It was like the most money out of any of the other places that, you know, again, we had looked at. And then I think the thing was is that I found a lot of deals at Menards last year. We also used rebates to pay for it, so I feel like we didn't pay as much. But then the actual the greenhouse that she went to today was, you know, like we ended up this year realized that was the cheapest place that we could have gotten any vegetables or like plants, anything like that. It was so much cheaper than all the other places, which again too, in some cases, like I was saying with the other like greenhouse, the nursery, it was not the case. And so that's why we were kind of thinking, like, because they're, you know, again, like a, you know, that's their you know, specialty is just in plants, it's probably going to be pretty expensive. And the other, like I said, most other greenhouses, it seems like a lot of times are more money, but this one, like I said, was so much cheaper. And so today they had a deal going on. It was buy one get one free on plants, which we had done. We went I think a couple weeks after we'd done our first kind of haul, we went back and they had that sale going on. So we ended up getting a couple things. One of them was lettuce, which I never planted. So today there were still some that survived. I ended up planting that today, along with they had a buy one get one free on all of their like still available like vegetables and things like that, but also on their herbs. And herbs will, a lot of them end up coming back. Like, I don't remember if we bought basil. I think maybe basil was the only thing we bought this year. We did also, we had chives that came back from last year, and I actually dug them up and moved them because I want to have a whole bed that's just for my herb garden. And so I dug up the chives and moved them to the spot where I wanted them this year. But they came back from last year. Also too, my thyme came back from last year, and I thought I accidentally ended up leaving a box of seeds on top of it because it was so tiny and I didn't realize it. And it's, I think I transplanted that to where I tried to, and then it didn't look like it had made it. And then I put a box of the seeds on top of it for like a day or two. And I was like, oh, it definitely didn't make it. The thing is still barely, it's got one little like piece, but it is still somehow hanging on. I don't know, but it came back. And also to my sage, which I was really not sure that the sage was coming back. But the thing is that I actually did plant sage seeds, I think, maybe, I don't know. I did have some herb seeds, and so I know I tried some of those, but the sage, multiple of them are coming up. And the weird thing is that I don't think that I transplanted it, but that was not where I had them planted from last year, because like I said, it was in a different bed, and then I ended up moving them to this new bed this year. So I really think that they're probably actually seeds, not ones that I transplanted from last year. But the thyme did come back, and like I said, I think I moved that, and the chives. So a lot of the herbs will potentially possibly come back as well. So my mom ended up getting, we had basil. She ended up getting another basil plant, and then she thought it was something else, but it was a third basil plant that's just a different variety. And then she also knew that she picked this one out though, but she picked out a purple basil. So we have 4 things of basil, so we got lots of stuff to do with basil. She also got dill and lavender. I am so excited about the lavender. And the lavender is actually, I mean, you can plant it as a plant, but you can also use lavender in cooking as well. So again, lavender is one of those multi-use kind of, you know, they're really pretty when they're blooming and flowers and everything like that, but they're also, like I said, used in, you know, in cooking. So it can be used as like an herb as well, and I think that's where my mom found it, because it was, like I said, a part of that the herb, you know, buy one get one free. So she ended up getting that, plus she ended up getting 2 different types of peppers. One was one actually has peppers on it already, and then she got another kind that's more of a medium variety, kind of like a salsa, but it wasn't like a jalapeno. I'm not entirely sure what it was, but she got one of those, and then I think 2 other something type of pepper plants. I'm not sure what they are. She ended up getting all of those, and then she also got 2 eggplants as well. So I think I tried to grow eggplant once. The thing is that I have always thought that I didn't like eggplants. I don't know if I ever had eggplants like Parmesan from, like, you know, I don't know, like I guess professionally cooked. I've only tried it once in like a frozen like eggplant Parmesan like dinner. I think there was another time I think I tried it when I was little, and I thought that I didn't like it. But at my aunt and uncle's house, my uncle ended up making like ratatouille on the grill, and it ended up like, it had like zucchini in it and like the eggplant and stuff like that. And I don't know if it was just the way they cooked it or what it was, but the eggplant to me tasted like zucchini, but a little bit different, and the texture was a little bit different. Again, when I have ever had eggplant, it's always very chewy. And I don't know if that's because it's frozen, but I know I've tried eggplant a couple different times. And each time I've always thought this, but when they ended up cooking it on the grill with all the other stuff, it tasted more like soft, like zucchini to me. And I don't know if that's how eggplant's supposed to taste, if it is supposed to be a little bit more chewy, like almost like the way I describe it is like a mix between like a like at least like the frozen version that I had. It's more like almost like a mushroom and a like zucchini, but so it was like a little more chewy, kind of like a mushroom, but it was sort of soft like a zucchini. I think it's sort of in the zucchini family possibly, but it actually, like I said, it tasted amazing. And so I was like, I actually want to grow some you know, eggplant and see if I actually like it for, like, you know, again, if it's just the way that it's been cooked that I haven't liked it. And again too, maybe because it's been like fried or it's been cooked in the oven and maybe it's been like very dry, I don't know. But again, when I had it, I thought, I was like, it has eggplants, and I was like, I don't really like eggplant. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I was like, I really need that recipe. And my aunt was telling me too, they do it like a ton of different ways, but they love to do it on the grill. And I was like, I totally want to try that out. So that would be awesome, because we've got zucchini plants as well, and we got tomatoes, so we have like most of what you kind of need for that anyway, which is really cool. So anyways, like I was saying, my mom got a whole bunch of stuff. She only ended up paying like 20 or 25 bucks, I think, for everything she ended up getting, which again too, it's kind of the end, you know, we're getting towards the end of like when things are even, you know, like gonna be harvestable at this point. But like I was saying too, the one pepper plant that she got already had peppers on it, so they'll probably be pretty small because the plant is still pretty small because it's in a smaller pot. But again too, if we hopefully maybe get the same amount of rain that we've been getting recently, I don't think it's supposed to rain this week, but I don't know necessarily about next week. But again, if we can get, you know, again, just good weather too, where it's also not really hot, it's only about in the 80s like this week, again, some of those plants, because when it gets too hot and it's like 90, almost 100 degrees, some of that stuff just fries. It doesn't matter how much you water it, you know, it's just, it gets too hot outside. So while they like the sun, they don't necessarily love it when it's that hot. And again too, they can't, the you know, water is just evaporating out of the soil because it's so hot, you know, and the plants are all taking up all whatever water's left there. But like I was saying, everything seemed like it really sprung to life, I think, in this last week or so when it's been raining so much. So like I was saying, we pulled some stuff yesterday. We got a pretty decent harvest of some stuff from yesterday, but then on top of that too, we also ended up getting, you know, we ended up planting some things. And like I said too, that the lettuce is more of a cool weather crop anyway, so it might not do that great right now, but if I can keep it from bolting and kind of keep it short and keep kind of, you know, pulling leaves off of it and stuff like that, it might still do pretty good for a while, hopefully, like I said. But in the spot that it is actually shaded a little bit by some of the other taller plants, so it might actually do a little bit better. But like I was saying, lettuce and like most leaf vegetables, you know, like leafy greens and stuff like that, they like it when it's cool out, which is what kind of the problem I have with the beets. I think it was too hot for the beets and they bolted. And I've tried my darndest with broccoli. I have the same exact thing happens every single year with broccoli. But again too, I really want to try broccoli like really early, because I do know that broccoli is again one of those more hardy vegetables where even if it kind of gets real cold, I'm not entirely sure about frost, but I'm even thinking like even if we plant it early, it frosts, if we can just cover it, we might still be okay. And again too, because I've never had success with it because I've always done it too late. So I'd like to try and do it earlier and see if I can have success with it. But we can also try and plant it towards the end of the year, like when it gets cool out as well. So there's a lot of things that I kind of want to, you know, we're doing a, you know, rotational garden kind of too. We're pulling some stuff up, planting some new things, and again too, we'll see what we get. But I thought for 20 bucks, even if we just, some of the herbs, even a few of them just come back from next year. And like I said, I think she still got some more stuff. I can't remember what else she ended up getting, but I still think there was maybe another herb or two that I'm forgetting. But I know she bought another chive plant as well. So, in total though, we ended up, she only spent about 25 bucks. And like I said, I think that's, you know, for having even some of the basil that will probably still do pretty good. You know, I think that that was, again, pretty worth it. And again, whatever we don't use for the end of this season, you know, even if it's not super mature, we can always cut it down and then dehydrate it and use it for, you know, like dehydrated, you know, like dried herb. So that's another thing that we can do as well. But I already took a shower, so because I was outside, and we weren't even outside really for that long, but it wasn't even that hot. But again too, I wasn't really prepared for being outside, so I kind of wasn't dressed properly either, and I was just like, I'm kind of sweaty, I was a little dirty, and you know, just from the dirt and everything, I was like, I think I'm probably just gonna take a shower. So I did already, and I already brushed my teeth, so I'm gonna get to bed now. But I should have a Meijer haul probably for you guys in tomorrow's vlog, because my dad's supposed to be home, so I think we can go tomorrow. But like I said, my mom coming up with all the deals lately is putting me to shame a little bit, because like I said, she found another good deal today at the greenhouse on some more plants that, like I said, we can probably get possibly more than one use out of, or you know, more than 1 year's use out of, possibly, because again, some of those might come back. I know the chives will for sure, because they came back in like full force this year. And it's funny too, because I remember when we had a herb garden behind our house, not on the side where we have it now, but we had it behind the house. I remember for like years after, my mom completely hadn't weeded it in years. It was pretty much turned into grass, I think, at that point. The only thing that was still growing in there was the chives. Like the chives, if you want almost like a foolproof kind of plants to grow, chives are probably the one. And you want it to come back every year, chives will probably be that one, because like I said, we mowed over it with a lawnmower, it's still popping back up. And so it was one of those where, like I said, it was gonna outlive a lot of stuff. So I'm pretty sure that it will hopefully come back again next year as well. But I will see you guys in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love it if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.